There were moments living in Korea where I honestly asked myself, am I strong enough to stay here? I am half Korean living in Korea, and this is not fully but half. Being half Korean honestly sounds like a dream for most people who want to move here. You're not fully dependent on visas, you have more freedom, the culture is kind of already a part of you. And all of that is true, but there also
I wonder what else she's mixed with, just out of curiosity. She says she is half Korean, but she didn't talk about her other half. Not sure what it is either. I'm not gonna guess.
disadvantages that nobody warns you about. Disadvantages that made me stop and think more than once. Am I actually strong enough to stay here? The first one is language pressure. Because you look Korean, people are kind of expecting you to already know the language, but I didn't grow up with the language. I am self-studied, and even after
She is absolutely correct. Like 100% correct. I've came to Korea. I came through the EPIC program, which is a teaching program for public schools. And I came in back in the day when it's like you had a huge intake, like 200 teachers. They put you in a university for like 10 days, and you come with so you can meet other foreign teachers. And in the Busan intake where I started teaching, I met a very very nice half Korean, half Japanese girl. So she looked Korean, and she had the hardest time because, of course, her Korean is she spoke some Korean, but it wasn't near fluent. And Koreans have zero tolerance for someone who looks Korean and cannot speak Korean. They have zero tolerance. For foreigners, we just give you an 안녕하세요 and they start flipping out, standing ovations, everything. But if you look Korean, you're not getting zero, and I mean zero of that kind of love. So I totally understand her about the language pressure.
4 years here, I'm still not fluent. And honestly, when I see foreigners who speak better Korean than me, it brings out this quiet jealousy, and I don't even want to admit it. Another thing that happens a lot is that people discuss if I look Korean or not. When I meet people,
Sorry, I missed that. Let me go back.
foreigners who
Her voice is super soft, so I gotta turn it up a little bit so I can hear what she's saying.
speak better Korean than me, it brings out this quiet jealousy, and I don't not fluent. And honestly, when I see foreigners who speak better Korean than me, it brings out this quiet jealousy, and
That is, I don't know about a jealousy thing, but when I go back to Canada and I sometimes bump into the random Korean person and I start speaking Korean, they say, "Yo, your Korean's better than mine." And they got kind of certain look in their eyes, not just surprise, but there's something else. I don't think it's jealousy. I just think it's more of a, I don't know. Like, I think it's a more of a self-reflection on themselves. Like, I'm Korean. You're not Korean. You don't look Korean at all, and you speak better than I do.
even want to admit it. Another thing that happens a lot is that people discuss if I look Korean or not. When I meet people, it's always 50-50. I've been in so many situations where people talk in front of me. Does she look more Korean or more like a foreigner? It's almost like I'm not even there, but they're staring at me. Then there's constant
That one is true. They're but in defense, if you're a Korean who likes tanning and likes doing like makeup, people will still look at you sideways. People will still look at you sideways. Like when I'm with the missus and she's dressed up, she likes tanning, she has some makeup on, they'll start speaking to her in English. And she has to be like, "Yo, I'm Korean." And I'm so happy she doesn't get offended at all. And we just laugh it off. But it happens all the time. So I understand that how that could happen to her.
or more like a foreigner. It's almost like I'm not even there, but they're staring at me. Then there's constantly the identity questions. Which parent is Korean? Why I sometimes act more Norwegian than Korean? Why my
Norwegian, Norway, okay. We got some, we understand more now.
beauty standards are different. And sometimes it doesn't even feel like curiosity. It kind of feels like people are trying to decide what I'm allowed to be. And one of the hardest parts is being treated by convenience. When
So let's go back to number 3. and she was saying
Questions. Like,
the identity questions. I think it's very unique to her, but other foreigners get it as well. We get the "Where are you from?" every single day. Where are you from? Right? And I think Koreans, because again, group culture, monoculture, if you're outside, Koreans need to put you in a category. They need some Koreans need spec, so they need data. So they need to gather this data. And that's why they come off as rude to foreigners. But once you understand why they're like that, it makes more sense. So I don't think it's totally unique to her situation because as just any other foreigner, they want to know. I think my friend had it worse because she was Korean Japanese. And whenever her teacher introduced her, they would always introduce her as she's half Japanese. They won't even say she's half Korean. She said, oh, she's half Japanese. So I understand it gets really messy once you're half Korean, half something else, and I get it.
parent is Korean, why I sometimes act more Norwegian than Korean, why my beauty standards are different, and sometimes it doesn't even feel like curiosity. It kind of feels like people are trying to decide what I'm allowed to be, and one of the hardest parts is being treated by convenience. When I go to get official paperwork done, I am officially Korean on paper, so I have to follow the Korean rules in a lot of situations. But in other situations, if my case is kind of complicated or they kind of don't want to deal with it sometimes, suddenly I'm the foreigner. And after a while, that kind of starts to hurt because
Yeah, that's annoying, but being half Korean, you're gonna have a lot more easier time than the official Weigukins living in Korea. So I understand it's annoying. Fully annoying for us, half of annoyance for you, because you at least get the half benefit of, oh, you're at least half Korean, so the paperwork, I'm pretty sure, gets pushed through a lot easier and faster.
realize you're Korean when it's useful and foreign when not. And even after all this, I love my identity, but I wish someone had told me how complicated it can be. This is not fully, but half, and this is just one part of my story. There were moments living in Korea.
So I have one of my close friends. He is a Kyopo, but his Korean is pretty much fluent. And now here's one thing I'll say about the half and half thing. It's mostly gonna come down to language, like most things. Like most things in Korea, it's gonna come down to language. If your Korean is up there and they can communicate with you and they have no problem communicating with you, you can bypass a lot of the other nonsenses. And this is why I tell foreigners, when you come to Korea, try to learn the language as quickly as possible. And what I mean by as quickly as possible is a lot of foreigners come to Korea and the first thing they say is, yeah, they try to learn the language, but then once it gets difficult, they're like, well, I'm not gonna stay here long, so I don't need to learn the language. I'm gonna leave after a year or two. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years later, you're still here. And you have none of the benefits of your long-term mentality because you kept on saying that you were going to leave after a year or two. So many situations I was able to get myself out of or get myself in a better situation because of my broken baby Korean. They just see you trying to speak and they just see you trying and they see your effort and they commend it. Unlike her, she doesn't have this benefit because she looks Korean. They're going to look at her like, why don't you know? But as a foreigner, you get this benefit. So again, my Kyopo friend, he has like, I think 0 of these problems. That's what she's facing. 0 of these problems. Because he understands the language. I think the language barrier is her biggest thing. You guys let me know in the comments below. As always, I always link the original creator down below. You can click and follow her stuff. As always, the free K360 newsletter, you can subscribe free down below with one click. Busan cheat day party happening at the Bay 101 on May 30th. This is for the workout community. First ever of its kind in Korea, I think. You can find more information down below. See you in the next video.